Hey there, so you're about to make one of the biggest financial decisions of your life. Well, let me tell you, who you choose to represent you in a real estate deal can make you or break you. So let's just get real here. Should you work directly with the listing agent? Should you represent yourself? Or should you get a buyer's agent? Those are the questions that you need to ask yourself, and you need to know about the ramifications of each one before you do it. Hey, by the way, I'm Gail DeMarco. I'm a real estate agent here in St. Johns County, Florida. Welcome to my channel. And if you haven't been here before, I really appreciate you watching. And if you have, hey, welcome back. So today I really want to talk about this because I did 3 open houses last weekend, and I had 2 buyers come directly to me thinking that, it's funny because the first thing they say is, I don't have an agent. I'm not working with an agent. Really? You don't know anybody? You don't have a brother, sister, mother, father, cousin, next door neighbor, boss, son, daughter that is not in real estate? Wow, you are the unicorn. Really, let me interpretate that. What that means is, I want your commission. I want you to work for free. I want to dive into this and really kind of explain what happens behind the scenes here. So when you're working with the listing agent, you need to understand one thing. Okay, my loyalty or their loyalty is to the seller, not to you. Okay, they have one job. My job is to get the highest price for my seller, to negotiate the best terms for the seller, and to get the least amount of repairs. That's why I do all my inspections up front, and to have a completely smooth, stressful transaction. Now here you come, you don't have an agent, and I am not negotiating for you, right? So this is the reality of it. Will I answer your questions? Absolutely. But when it comes down to getting the best price for you, I'm playing for the other team. Any good listing agent knows they're playing and working for the seller. So why do buyers just go right to the listing agent? In the old days, which was 3 years ago, they wanted to go because there was 20 offers on a home, right? 20 offers. And they figured if that agent could double end the deal, then they would take your offer, right? Even if it wasn't the highest offer. Well, the reality is, I think in my entire career, and I've sold over 900 million in real estate, and I'm not counting the 100 million I've sold in new construction, but I've sold a lot of real estate. And at the end of the day, I don't like double ending. It's like having the same divorce attorney, right? Because I'm gonna know things about my seller, like what his bottom line is. I'm going to know exactly, what the situation is. Is it divorce? Is it downsizing? Is it debt? Is it that all of a sudden they decided they're having a life change? So every buyer always asks, so why are the sellers moving? My job is not to tell you their personal business. So I always say, they're moving closer to family. Closer to family. It doesn't matter what they're moving, right? What it matters is, why are you buying? What's important to you? So they always think they're going to get a better deal. We're going to cut our commission. We're going to make it just easy peasy for the buyer. Well, of course we want a great buyer, right? But at the end of the day, why should my seller pay? Or maybe you're going to decide, I'm going to go solo. I got this. I don't need no stinking buyer's agent. What do they do anyway? I just send them my Zillow listings and they just open the door. Okay? Well, I love your confidence, but let's be clear, you probably have the wrong agent, because buying a house is not like negotiating for a used car or a new car. It has a lot more twists and turns, and you better be ready for it. You don't know what you don't know. You're walking into a highly strategic game without the playbook, and you're emotionally involved. As a seller, they're detached, they're calculated. Math is the path with them, but you're emotionally invested, and that makes you vulnerable. You just won't see the traps. And when I talk about traps, it's like contingencies, inspection loopholes, appraisal gaps. These are things where deals are won and lost. And if you don't spot them, they'll spot you. The buyer's agent. So now you're like, what? I'm going to have a buyer's agent. Because it's kind of like being a contractor and you're building a house and you hire all these subs and you have no control and you have no experience. So you decide, I'm going to hire a buyer's agent, and you find a really, really good one. Well, guess what? The game has changed. Now you're bringing in this agent who's very savvy. So now you have someone running interference for you, protecting your money, and pushing for your best interests. And the best part, most of the time you don't have to pay them. Most of the time the sellers do pay them if you have a good buyer's agent and they can write it in the offer and the seller agrees. That's part of doing their due diligence. But a great buyer's agent is always going to know the market inside and out. You're not going to overpay, because they'll have the comps, they'll know. And at the end of the day, if it doesn't appraise, there's an appraisal gap there, and then you could get a better deal. Or you could be forced to pay depending on how that contract is written. A good buyer's agent is going to handle the negotiations with me. I'm a great negotiator. So when I see a weak agent, I'm going to run that play all the way down the field. I'm going to make a touchdown for my seller. But if you have a good agent, we're going to come to a happy agreement and everybody wins. They're going to also spot all your red flags. They're not going to get you caught in a contingency that is past due and then you're like, oh my gosh. And the most important thing is they're going to tell you when to walk away. And they're going to make sure when you walk away, you don't lose your deposit based on the contingencies. So let's just get creative with the contracts here. It's not just about price, it's about terms. And that's where the real win happens. I've many times accepted offers where it wasn't the highest offer, but it was the best terms. Like my sellers needed a rent back. They needed another 2 weeks. Or my sellers, didn't have an inspection period because they were proactive and did their inspections. So whatever that is, you always ask the listing agent, hey, what do your sellers need? What's important to your sellers? It's not always the price. Trust me on that one. Now, if there's ever a time to work with a listing agent, let's think about this. Once in a while, it does make sense. Maybe you're an experienced investor and you know how to negotiate and you don't need any guidance. Good for you. Maybe you're a retired realtor. Or maybe this is a unique off-market deal where nobody else is going to have an opportunity for it, so you don't mind if the listing agent double ends the deal. But if you truly understand, the risks, you can advocate for yourself, right? But for the average buyer, you are playing with fire. And in this market, you don't want to get burnt. It's no fun. So let me leave you with this. When you walk into a real estate deal, you're either negotiating or being negotiated. There's just no in between. So ask yourself, who is really in your corner? Because in a game where thousands, maybe millions of dollars are on the table, being unrepresented is a bold, reckless move, unless you know what you're doing. If you'd like to talk about this anymore, go ahead and pick up the phone. Give me a call, 904-640-8000. I'm Gail DeMarco. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you got some value out of it and have a great day.